Music, industry talk, stories, equipment and more. We are Crossfader and this is off the record. Off the record. Off the record.
Hello, welcome. Jeez, have I got reverb on? Is there reverb in here?
No, it's just your internal reverb.
You shouted so loud down the microphone, and it does sound a bit reverby.
It does. Yeah.
What's going on?
Hello. Welcome back to this week's Off the Record. It has been a while,
It doesn't help that last week's special guest is stood there with a phone getting B-roll. So, a bit off-putting, to say the least.
If you got through last week's podcast, well done. It was the best podcast of all time last week.
We enjoyed it so much in the office.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to Even Live for taking the reins, stepping up,
holding it down.
Really threw him in at the deep end.
Yeah.
But we haven't done this for a while, so it just feels weird.
This has been a long time.
It's not like riding a bike.
It's not.
It's
no,
the opposite.
You forget.
This could be a bit of a warm-up episode again.
Today's episode is entitled Unsure. So let's see what happens. How are we anyway? All right.
I'm
unsure.
Oh, good. You said you're delirious right before we press record. So.
I mean, I do feel a bit delirious. I've been in the studio a lot the last few days, so with all the artificial light, you don't really see the outside world.
No.
You start to lose track of sense and time.
Yep.
So it does start to play on, like, send you a bit loopy, really.
It's a bit weird.
So there's only a few hours at a time I can do in the studio.
Yeah.
I've found.
It's good to be back. We have got a few topics today. We're going to add to playlist as well. We've not played that for a while.
Oh yeah.
We've got some bangers. I had a gig on Saturday night, a little outdoor festival. You spend just hours
getting tunes.
You know what? I spent probably 2 hours getting tunes, and I probably played like 3 of them.
But did you enjoy getting them?
Well, it's because I was enjoying the process of getting them. I thought, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
And just get to the set, and actually, I was like, they don't want this.
It's not the one.
Yeah, they just wanted not classics, but like well known.
Yeah,
they didn't want to be experimented with. You got to make that call sometimes, aren't you? Yeah. You got to be like, I just need this to go well, sort of thing, as opposed to be like if you're doing residencies week in week out, or you're like the headliner, you can be a bit more experimental. When you're there,
it's residencies that's the big one where you can really experiment week by week and test. Yeah, when you've just got like a one-off gig that you've never played before, you've kind of got to go safe, right? You've got to, to a degree,
it was.
You don't know what the crowd.
Well, there was a big
they're going to react.
There was a big headline DJ on, right? So I was on after him. So coming on after a big headliner, they'd all paid to see him, right? Mm-hmm. So it was one of them where my job was to keep people there. I had like 2 hours set. So my job was to keep people there for 2 hours, basically. Mm-hmm. So it was like, okay, I don't really have an option here. I just have to know. I have to play what I know is going to keep everyone here.
Yeah.
When it worked, it was great. It was.
Have you ever had gigs where you play what you think they want to know because it's like kind of popular? I'm not saying cheesy, but just like popular stuff. You're like, these are easy crowd pleasers, and the crowd pleasers just go flat.
I mean, then you are screwed when you're in your emergency folder and it's the people that are still leaving.
We've all been there.
It was one of them where I was playing a few. I thought, I've got there's like 4 or 5 big bangers out there, right? So I was like, I've got a few edits of them, played them. I just don't think that there was into the new stuff. So I was like, Heads will roll. Let's go.
How that track?
It's done bits.
When right? Well,
we spoke to A-Track about it.
Yeah,
didn't we a few years ago about how it comes out, and they were like, I don't really know a mainstream DJ that doesn't play that every single set. I'm still playing it now. Obviously, there's a new edit every year that I like to play. Do you know what I mean? But still
the original.
Just the riff, innit? The riff is still like.
Do you know what it always seems to be as well? When you hear about people who've made these songs, they're always like, I never expected it to be that big. Always.
I guess no, but all the time I spoke like A-Craze. I spoke to A-Craze, and he was like, that Do It track. He's like, I had that sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Wild, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy. But I think that's the beauty of it, though. And then when we've talked to producers and stuff on his podcast, most of their big tunes, or the ones that have done well, is where they've made it in an hour.
Yeah,
they've just put it up and it's gone. And those ones that have taken weeks of tweaking and that, just like
never worked.
Yeah, it's like I remember listening to an interview with Red Light, and it's like nobody cares about a tuned kick drum anymore.
No,
they're all good.
Yeah. Just for reference, it's 15 years old in November.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Heads Will Roll remix.
Oh my god.
It was released in 2009, and to be specific, the A-Track one was released on November the 17th.
That is not nice.
I might try and find EDM tracks that are 15 years old and let's go through them. But we are going to talk. I came through.
You're planning the podcast as we go along right now.
that are 15 hour. I came across an article that was like misconceptions of a DJ, and I thought these are all funny because somebody came. I was at a family gathering the other day, and you know when people come up to you and they're like, "You're still doing the DJ thing?" You're like,
the DJ.
I get this all the time.
This career that I've had for 20 years.
All the time. I bumped into someone on my street who was someone from my school that I wasn't friends with, but was in my year. And you know when you like look opposite, like over the road, you're like, I swear I know that person. You're both trying to work each other out.
Yeah.
How do I know you? And you haven't seen them since high school days, which is like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. And straight away it was like, oh, so you're still doing the DJ stuff then? It's like,
it's just the DJ
I can
stuff.
say yes.
Yeah.
I can say yes, which fair enough. But
it's just
like them describing.
It's just painful to hear, isn't it? You're
yeah.
still doing that DJ, like it's just like a little thing.
Have you not given up on that hobby yet? Have you not given up on
how it makes you feel
on the thing that creative thing that you you had as a hobby when you were a teenager?
Yeah.
Like, what? You're still doing it?
Don't make you feel great, does it? But
I've got some 10-year-old EDM tracks ready. Even 10 years old.
Right.
Calvin Harris, Where You Found Love. Jackie, You, Where Are You Now? Zed, Clarity. Titanium, David Guetta. Swedish House Mafia, Don't You Worry Child. Dead Mouse, I Remember. Gold Dust, DJ Fresh. Atmosphere, Cascade, Jesus.
what a year,
Wow. It's a good year, though.
That's 10 years ago.
That was really when like EDM became like pop music was being taken over by dance music in a way.
Yeah.
It really started coming to the forefront, I think.
Yeah. So someone came up to me like, "Oh, you're still doing that DJ thing," and then they make like a bit of a gesture to one hand, like a scratch.
Always that
So it's
DJ
like,
thing.
yeah, one of the myths is like all DJs scratch, don't they? Because that is like the gesture for a DJ. You put your hand over, you do like a little scratchy thing. So I came across this like article. It's got like a few like misconceptions. Like, so first one is like, not all DJs are musicians, so like musically trained.
Yeah.
Like most of them. Like, I bet a lot of people actually get into DJ because like, maybe have tried producing, they're not really good at it, but like love music.
Yeah.
They're not quite musically inclined. You don't need to know about music to start DJing. Like, you don't need to know what a key is to start off with. There, you just sort of pick it up.
Yeah.
It's
a much lower barrier to entry than like learning how to perform, like how to play an instrument or create music electronically, digitally, in like a workstation on your laptop. Both of those things, I feel like the barrier to entry is much higher than DJing. Maybe not an instrument, but it's hard to get some sort of outcome with an instrument. Whereas with DJing, you're already playing with outcomes. You're already playing with finished pieces of something, and
100%.
you can kind of lead off from that point. Whereas if you don't have anything and you're trying to make something from nothing, there's a much bigger hurdle to get over to start with.
Yeah. But I know that we've taught DJs that are musicians and they just pick it up so quickly, don't they? Because you know about timing, you know about rhythm, you know about four patterns and all that kind of stuff. Another misconception is like anyone can do it. I remember watching like Leeds and Reading Festival with like some friends or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, that looks easy," and it's like, can anyone do it? Like, if you want to do it, you can like pick up a course and start DJing, and then have some gigs. But like the actual doing of a DJ and having like a sustainable career and hunting music and having a network, it's just a business, isn't it? It's like essentially, can anybody run a business? Well, no, not really. Like you need network, you need to know how to get paid, you need to build that network over time, keep up with latest gear, keep up with music trends. Social media is a whole other side of it.
It's weird, isn't it? Like on the surface, it does look like if you compare DJing to like shredding on a guitar, that looks easier. But you're right. There's layers to it, and it's 100% way more than what it looks.
It's that thing of you can mix, but are you a DJ?
Yeah.
Because DJ is short for disc jockey. It's a thing. It's an entity. It's like you're becoming something. And you've got to fill all the gaps of what that thing is. One part of it is mixing. And there might be lots of people out there that can mix and have no intention of being like a DJ in the sense of a DJ in other people's eyes. It's just a skill that they have acquired that they are then exercising themselves. So there's definitely a difference between the two, I think.
Another one is like all DJs remix or all DJs produce music, which is obviously another like misconception. And this goes back to when I always have a look at like when like DJ Mag do like top 100 DJs and stuff. I'm like, well, what is the definition? Because it's like
based on what?
Well, a different definition, because it's like most of them are just like big producers, aren't they? And they probably have similar DJ skill level. But then is being a DJ just playing the biggest music and biggest shows to the biggest people? Do you know what I mean? It depends what you define it as. Whereas like you would look at somebody like DJ Craze or Jazzy Jeff or somebody technical and be like, well, they're better DJs in air quotes than the people like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a big myth. And also, like, you know, we've spoke about it a lot on the podcast, is like, you don't need to make any music to have a DJ career whatsoever. It depends what you like want to do for yourself long term. I know some people dip their toes in and it's not for them, and they go on a different journey, get into events, you get into residencies. You can still make it to sort of doing festival gigs or touring with artists, radio shows. There's so many avenues now as like influencer DJing, isn't there? Without making music.
I suppose it comes back like, what does it mean to be a DJ, right?
Exactly.
You know, these going
Evolves.
back to the top 100 DJs from DJ Mag, like, what does it mean to be a DJ in that list? And I think it's the criteria of, you know, there are so many prongs to the DJ world of like, okay, well, a radio DJ versus a festival DJ artist versus a resident DJ versus a hobbyist DJ at home. You know, all these different types of DJs, like you've just been mentioning, all kind of fit different parts of this catch-all term of DJ. And it could be that it's coming to the point, you know, if we're trying to grade people and give people awards for being DJs, then it's like maybe it just needs to be a bit more granular of like, you know, electronic music artist awards.
Producer DJ. It's not as catchy, is it? Another myth, and this is for people who go to clubs. A myth is that DJs have every song and can download it right now.
If only people knew that.
It's getting closer, isn't it? To be fair, we are
there.
close to like just being able to have every song available every second. And
There's that thing as well where people are like, "Oh, have you got this?" And you're like, oh, "No, what is it?" And they're like, "What? You don't know it? But you're a DJ."
It got released 3 seconds ago, and you'd have no idea what this is.
I'm not like a walking Spotify right now. You know,
they are offended that you haven't got track 5 mixtape off of David Guetta's last track, last mix on SoundCloud or something.
The one that always used to get me is if you didn't have it, it's like, can I plug my phone in?
No,
no, absolutely not.
And not only that, you know, you've most DJs have curated some part of that set. Things need to happen at certain times. Do you know what I mean? And for somebody just to come and drop a random request on you, like, you're like, no.
Do you know what I'm a big fan of? Venues where the booth is inaccessible.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's miles away.
You say that, but then, do you remember like at O2 where people would be really far away from and they'd just hold the phone to you, like, see your phone.
They do it.
You'd be like,
the worst one,
thumbs up.
The worst one is that little scrolling banner. So they've got a song request that's like loads long, and they're just holding it on red for 10 minutes. You're like, fucking hell, mate. Jesus Christ.
Just can't see
There's
anything.
nothing worse. I swear, I've been called like shit with that, with like a rolling, like just been offended by something. Like, I don't think it was like this, like next song.
That's, you know, that's like brutal, innit? Next song.
Next song. I'm like, oh, God.
That goes deeper than anything.
But then I'm pretending that I can't see it.
Next song.
Next track, like
passive aggressive.
Honestly, people just like no manners whatsoever. Like. But then the problem is with. It is good for like keeping people away, but you just don't get the same vibes. Like them being close. It's one of them, and it depends what you're doing, doesn't it? But I have become more accustomed to people closer, just because like I like the vibes. I like to be in it. But yeah,
there's the attitude of the clubber as well, and the customer. So it's like, are they there to? Some people just think you're there to serve them, right? They're important, and you need to serve them because they've paid money to be in the venue. So my thoughts and opinions count more than anyone else, you know. And it's like, you need to play my song, otherwise that's not fair. I've paid to be in here, and you're just serving me what I need. And then you've got the flip side of it, is where you've got the clubbing scene where people are going and they want an experience. They want to be, you know, taken away from the daily lives, taken away from whatever. They don't want to be interacting with the DJ. They want to be, you know, enjoying this internalized moment that they're creating, and they want the DJ to curate that moment for them and not have to dictate to that said DJ what they want to get out of it. So there's definitely, it comes back to the type of venue, which then also attracts a type of clientele as well. And I think this comes back to knowing who you are as a DJ and knowing what you're playing in that moment. And it's not to say you can't do both. It's not to say one's better than the other. It's just they're different. And you've got to appreciate that if you are playing a much more commercial venue, you can't try and force cool stuff down people's necks because that's what you want. The people that are going there are not there for that reason. And then the flip side as well, you know, if you want to really go deep into your certain genres or style of music and mixing, it's knowing what that venue or venues are and where those customers are coming together so that then you can put yourself in that environment or try and get yourself in that environment. But we always say this, don't we? It's like there's so many more opportunities for the gigs that you might not enjoy.
Yeah.
And the gigs that you really will love are far and few between.
Yeah.
But you won't get those gigs you really do love without just taking lots of opportunity and seeing where the journey goes. And there's so many people that don't ever get to the opportunity of playing the gigs they truly love and that have that crowd that are just engaged and will listen to the music that you want to share.
Yeah.
They won't get to that because they're too busy fighting off all the other opportunities to try and get that.
Yeah.
And I think it's that thing of, know that's where you want to go, but don't then say no to everything else.
Yeah.
Like, use it all as a learning experience. So, go into the gig, know that that's not the end goal for you as a DJ, but what can you take from that experience? Reading a crowd is the same if you're in a commercial venue or an underground venue.
Definitely.
There's still a crowd then, you have to feed off an energy, and that's something that you have to learn in that environment. So every time you say no to those other gigs because they're not your style of music, like you're saying no to learning how to read a crowd and saying no to understanding the vibe that is created within a venue and understanding how music interacts and intersects with people. And it's all those other things that really can make you a well-rounded DJ.
100%.
Sorry for going off on one then.
No. The next myth is that like gear is everything. It's like a misconception. Like the better gear you have, like the better DJ you become.
No.
Which is obviously like not true at all. I don't have any gear at home. But I remember going to this brunch, and I turned up to this brunch. They had CDJ 3000s or whatever, but they're basically broken, right? So I scrambled around. I borrowed a controller from a friend. He had like an SX2 or something. It was like bad.
Yeah.
So I turned up, and the venue promoter owner was like, "What the fuck is that?" He's like, "What is that?" I was like, "Don't worry about it." Yeah. And then like literally finished the gig. He's like, "Oh man, that's like best set we've ever had."
Yeah.
Like,
trust the process.
Yeah. So he's just like, we say it all the time. The companies have to make money by bringing out new equipment every year and create excitement, and there's new technology. But being able to mix two tunes has been the same thing since it started.
There was a massively sort of judgmental period about 10 years ago when a lot of like controllers were not what they are today. There was only a few controllers out there. The controller technology was really evolving at that time. And it was like the DJs that were on the circuit, myself included, like we were playing on CDJs and controllers were this new thing and they were really frowned upon. It was like,
seen as
what,
like
you're playing on a controller? That's not real DJing. Just like, the whole thing of like turntables and then CDJs. And then it was like CDJs to controllers. There's always someone pointing the finger saying, that's not DJing. That's not the real thing. And there was this real misconception of this and people taking the controller, because that's what they're comfortable with, to the club and plugging into the club mixer and mixing on the controller. And it was really frowned upon and you're not a real DJ, you're not doing it right. But they could play the right tunes and they could mix. And
I did that.
It was something that, the industry had to get on board with and go, well, actually, the club managers know, and it's like, well, actually, they're doing a good job, so let's let them keep bringing their controller in and doing that job.
But from the other side of that, what I'd say is like when I was using a controller at like bars and venues when I first started, because I had Tractor and like there was no I didn't have DVS and whatever. I felt like I wasn't a real DJ until I got on CDJs. So like I slowly like moved myself over. I got like a DVS box and then tried to move over. I started with like one CDJ, but I'd have my controller to the side as a backup. But I very much felt like that. I was like, oh, I'm not a real DJ till I can use CDJs.
I get it because it's the professional gear.
It's seen as like the standard,
if you're a professional DJ, you should be able to use the pro gear. Like I get that, but I think nowadays, as long as you're able to plug in properly, and you speak to the venue, and you're like, can I bring my controller? Is there space for it? Is your controller of high enough quality that it's going to have a loud enough sound output? That's something to consider. A lot of the entry-level controllers, just with the standard RCA outs on a big club sound system, might start to distort a bit because you're sending audio out from a controller, then to a mixer, then and you start daisy chaining this audio signal through multiple sources, and it can start to you start to maybe lose quality because you've got so many different levels to control from your software to the controller to the mixer to the PA system. They all have individual volume controls, and it's very easy as a beginner to get that wrong. That is called gain staging, and to get that wrong and then suddenly have like distorted sets. So that's something to really watch out for if you are a DJ that's regularly taking controllers to venues, clubs.
Big time.
Speaking of distorted sets, that was a good link, wasn't it?
I didn't even know where we were going.
We're back. A new product has just dropped. Not just dropped. This has been in the making for a couple of weeks. We got it to review last week, and if you're listening to this now, it is live on YouTube. And one of the big issues is recording DJ sets, and especially on CDJs. There's a few options in there. You can take your laptop, you can record through your laptop, but or there's like an iRig.
Yep.
You have to connect to, but there's always a bit of it. It's not easy, basically.
Yeah.
If you're on a controller, you can record internally or whatever, but it's quite a big problem. So this company called Density sent us a product to review, and I was sort of blown away by it. And basically, it's this hardware box, and it's a software DAW, a DAW like Ableton, like Logic, and basically what it does is you plug it in CDJs, you record a mix, but it doesn't record any of the audio. It's basically taking all the MIDI data from your mix, including loops, using the effects, using all the if you're on a 900 Nexus, it'll use all your sound color effects, all your reverbs, your echoes, any highs, any lows, every little single thing you do on the decks while you're DJing, it will record that data. So you record a mix, you record all your data, you put it in the software, and then it will upload your mix, and you'll have all of that data there. So it allows you to non-destructively basically edit your whole set after a mix, which is really, really cool. So you basically, locate all your files, and then you can open it up a bit of like if you ever opened up Logic, it looks very similar to that, right? Yeah. And you can sort of automate and sort of move around your set how you will. So this is really good for if you upload to Mixcloud or SoundCloud, and maybe you've recorded a live mix or something. Maybe you've clashed a mix or something like that. You can just basically go in there, delete that track out of it, but it won't affect any of the other mix. It will sort of bring it back in time perfectly. If there's a track in there that's got flagged for copyright or something on SoundCloud, you can go in, delete that one, and then you'll still have the whole mix intact. There won't be a gap. It'll blend seamlessly. You can go in there and add little things. So if you want to add in more effects, add a bit more reverb, add some echo, cut the lows. There's got transition presets in there as well. It also works as a standalone. It's got a box, which is the hardware, but it also works as a standalone piece of software as well. So if you want to try it, the hardware comes in at $300, and the software is $15 a month. So if you want to try it, you can actually try it with no decks. You can literally use it as a standalone DAW. You can drag tracks in without mixing. You can literally sort of create a mix without ever plugging in decks. If you do have like a XZ or a CDJ set up at home, you can, and if you've got a network hub, you can use it to record through your laptop as well. But yeah, it's a really cool product. Go and watch the sort of review and get a better idea of how it works. And it does sort of solve a problem, and it's definitely something for working DJs who really care about like perfection mixes and like technology. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It does solve a gap, and because it's not recording the audio, you can go and edit and fine tune and perfect something afterwards, which I think is really, really
sick.
Really
cool.
And you're going to get like high quality.
That's the thing.
Mixes, because it's you're getting the original source files rather than recording externally from your mixer to something else, which could lose some of the quality. You're getting the original quality built in and exported through the software, which is cool. Yeah. You know what? When I first saw this, I was like, I wish I had this when I was making a lot of content, because I used to do a lot of like mini mixes, and I had to then warp everything in Ableton and mess around and do all the automation and basically make like a 10-minute mini mix just in Ableton. And it was really hard to be creative in that way because there's so much programming going into it. And I thought, as soon as I saw this, it's like, oh, you can get the basic stuff down on your decks and then go and fine tune it and tweak it. And the mini mixes I did was more to kind of showcase my music taste and style, but in a much shorter version as a bit of promo. I even put them underneath videos, like show reels and stuff, to really highlight like what I do and what I play, because rather than just put one track underneath a show reel, I wanted to kind of show the diversity of what I played, and that would have been perfect.
And it gives you basically master grade quality mixes because it's located in the original source file, and it's got a LUFS meter in there as well, so it'll basically master it for you. It's got a limiter in there for you to export. So it is, like I say, it's only compatible with Pioneer DJ top-end equipment, basically. So this is for working DJs who have regular access to your 3000s, 2000s, 900 Nexus. It works with an XZ as well, by the way. So go and check it out. Our Density review is live. I'll put some notes in the description as well. Have you got some Reddit drama for me or not?
On here.
Do you want me to wrap it?
There we go.
Reddit drama, it's all over the place. People arguing, fighting, all up in your face. Reddit drama. Reddit drama.
Close. Right, this is class. It's quite long. I'll try and get through it, but was almost scammed to do a fake DJ gig. I love it. I love these.
Already I'm in.
Right, essentially, I've been DJing for 7 years and never been able to do big jobs that require contracts. Most of my gigs are done through DMs, through text message, and I get cash through like Venmo, PayPal, etc. I've been pushing my social media campaign to promote myself and build a bigger fan base so I can get booked for bigger events and play the music I actually want to play. I got an email last week to work on a potentially lucrative DJ gig. I was quite desperate for the money, so I entertained it. Here's how it went down. I got a cold email asking if my services were available. I wasn't put off by this, as I know a fake email when I see one. It doesn't. But something told me to entertain it. Maybe it was desperation. You know, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
If you need money or work's dried up, you will just take some shady gigs or just anything. We've all been there. After I responded, they sent me a lengthy email with all the details for the gig. They are doing a modelling session and promo for Paul Smith, the clothing company, which I researched, and they want me to do a 3-hour session next month. They were going to pay me $5,500.
Right.
That's your red flag right there.
We get that red flags post back out.
Yeah, that's one red flag.
Wait a minute. Now the red flags I saw. They wanted me were number one. They wanted me to send.
This is number 2, by the way.
Well, yeah, exactly. This is number. Yeah. They wanted me to send a check to buy the Pioneer Opus Quad.
Oh my god!
And that they would add detail of. Sorry, wait a minute. And that they would add detail and their logo to it, basically.
but he still had to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
The venue wasn't locked in yet, but they would forward me the details as and when. There were other smaller issues, but those were the 2 things that made me uncomfortable. If you get booked to do a club, a festival, a corporation event, they already have CDJs or whatever, and you ask for a rider and they put the DJ equipment in there, right? Basic. After doing some soul searching and asking around, as well as talking to a couple of my DJ peers, I agreed to the gig and send them my info to get the paperwork in the mail. I signed their contract, in air quotes, which essentially said the same thing as their second email, detailing the job, and made it to the bank the next day. But before I just signed the check and hoped for the best, I sat down with the bank and asked them if they could help me do a bit more research and try before I cash the check. Before they cash the check. Now the paperwork came through from a company in California. He's in New York. The company on the check had nothing to do with Paul Smith. Yeah, we know.
Right.
But it was a random gun store in Missouri. And the bank on the check was based in Virginia. None of the dots were connecting and alarm bells were too blaring to ignore. So I thanked my bank for their help and promptly left. I then text asking why the check was made out to a gun manufacturer. And they said they were one of the co-sponsors of the event.
Paul Smith, sponsored by Bang Bang.
Oh, God. So then I did a quick Google. Why is he still trying to find?
I love it. He's still trying to get a gig out.
Yes. I then did a quick Google of Paul Smith sponsors, and there was no connection between Paul Smith and a gun store in Missouri.
Wow.
When I showed them this info, they ghosted me. Good riddance.
Right. America.
Wow.
Where's my eagle sound?
I've entertained some shady gigs back in, when you're a bit young and naive or whatever. But
first thing, though,
I think it's the thing of desperately trying to make it work.
I get that. Yeah,
I just want it so badly to be a thing.
I know.
But $5,000 for a 3-hour set, that's not a red flag, it's a red bed sheet. That's huge.
Don't send money to do a gig. Ever.
It should be
the other way around.
Yeah.
So good.
Wow.
Right, we're ready for add to playlist. We're gonna play add to playlist. We're gonna go through a few tunes. Danny and Jamie have not heard these tracks. They're gonna rate them, see if they vibe with them, see what kind of genre, and then would they go in their playlist. The first track I found speaks to your favourite genre of music and one of your favourite songs ever.
Hello.
So if this doesn't go in a playlist, nothing ever will. Right?
Let's go.
Is it up? Are we up?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, already.
I thought so. It's got a long build up, so I might have to beat jump it. Where's my beat jump?
So weird that I was listening to Nero this
Yeah,
week
no,
as
that's
well.
what I thought, yeah. I'm going to jump. Yeah.
They go well.
Do you know what? It's
They
one of
go
those
really
things
well.
where like, don't ruin a song for me, but it works.
Yeah.
It's different enough. I love these big like main room EDM build-ups.
Yeah.
Euphoric,
This is long.
kind of commercial, but
It
great.
works.
False drop.
Oh yes.
You're crying, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'd be crying like
Crying on the dance floor.
4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I just
Cuddling your mates.
I just love you guys. I just love you.
This is really nice.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
Is it a mashup or an edit or a?
Yeah, it's an
what's
edit,
it classed
proper
as?
edit. Yeah, Promises verse intro, proper. He's called proper. Yeah, PROPPA. We'll put all these tracks in the Discord as usual.
Nice.
Vibey though, isn't it?
So
I
for
do really like
reference,
that.
it's the XX intro, which is that riff in the background.
Yeah.
And then it's
And
Promises
Promises
Nero,
Yeah.
Nero.
which is the vocal, and then
Nice. Some
what's
sort of
some other track or they
Don't know.
produced?
Oh, yeah.
the main.
Don't know.
Main
Who
beat.
knows?
Don't know.
We'll put the
It's
link.
nice,
We'll put the track list in
Okay.
Discord. We're loving that. Yeah.
big tick.
Next one.
Oh yeah.
This is one of my
I
favorite.
love the
tunes.
original of this.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tune. This is the tune that I played my first song at the gig I did last week.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, and I was like, all right, cool.
I'd have backed you if I were there.
Bit tribally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I like about these last two tracks? It just plays back into that idea of we're not trying to just get people like putting their hands in the air and jumping
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to like get just a reaction out of a drop and then on to the next thing. Like there's
Yeah.
a bit more going on with these two tracks where you can really like let the tracks play,
Yeah.
let the people that are listening, the people that are dancing really engage
Yeah.
with the set. These would definitely go into like a set where you're going to play stuff more extended. You know, you're going to let tracks play out a bit more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Energy level is not. Again, it's not like huge drops, but because of the big build-ups and the atmosphere that's building up, you can get away with it at
Yeah.
a lot of the main times.
Yeah. For me,
feeling that.
I like the vibe, but I'd have made it dropped at the wrong time for me.
All right,
You know, because where the vocal comes in.
Yeah.
It's like in the original, it doesn't drop there.
No.
So like for me, that was that bit, but the vibe was
Cool.
there. I
Vibe
like
was
it.
good. Is it
Yeah.
going in the playlist?
Not for me.
No,
But
okay.
do you want to give it a tick?
Ooh.
No, we'll go with you this time.
Okay. Sorry.
It is vibey though.
It would have been hard to play this without a Sammy Virgie edit, would it? So.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. I love the synth on this so much. The original of this.
Love it so much.
That electro vibe. Oh.
I know.
It's interesting hearing people's interpretations
Yeah.
of songs, isn't it?
That was really nice.
It is nice.
Those synths.
Really.
Do you know what I love about this? Is it will go in the playlist for me because very well known song, but how do you get away with playing it maybe like earlier in the night?
Yeah.
Because it's getting a bit older now, can you give it a fresh lease of life? So go,
Yeah.
okay, I can play it earlier in the night and make it like a warm up track.
Yeah, that is
But
warm-up
without
vibe.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
But or in my position where you're playing the regular one week in week out, and it's just starting to tail off as a big
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
and you give it a new lease of life.
Yeah.
Where people
Yeah,
are like, "Oh,
for sure.
I love this song, but I don't want to listen to the original. It's just a bit of a new
yeah,
edit."
I've heard it the last 5 weeks I've been out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the Ludo Lacoste edit of Sammy Virgie. If you need it,
I really like that.
That's a nice,
Yeah,
nice
that's a vibe.
Going in?
I like it.
Tick in?
Sure.
A bit more energy.
Now the race is not for the swift, only who can endure it. Only the fittest of the fittest shall survive.
I love these kind of vocals.
Yeah. It's that jungle sort of vocal. Ah, stop it.
There's a theme here, a lot of big build-ups.
Oh, I've got this. Banger.
It's not new.
This is Gunfingers, isn't it?
Yeah, gun fingers for sure. This guy's killing it. Like if you like UKG and stuff, MPH is
MPH.
sick. You've got Virgin, you've got Interplanetary Criminal, you got MPH. Like these are the guys.
That's a vibe.
That is a vibe.
That's
called Home.
That's
Tea.
going in the playlist.
That's called Home Tea Dub.
High energy.
Yeah.
Peak set. A lot of this is quite peak set.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Next one.
Who's that dipping in the beamer? F's on my feet, it's Fendi, it's not.
Whoa. Nice.
F's on my feet, it's Fendi, it's not Vita.
You can tell this is like bedroom producing.
It is.
At its finest.
It's when it's so.
It's rough, raw, ready.
It's when each element's so separate.
Yeah. But it's, you know, I'm fine with it.
You know, it's just literally going from one synth or bass to the next.
Yeah.
But there's something like
I don't mind
magical
it.
about
I
it.
don't mind it.
Yeah.
And as a DJ, there's a lot of room to play around and get creative with
There
that.
is for sure.
That is Jam Resi Fendi Not Feeler.
I like that. Yeah.
I'd only play a small.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play it for long.
You
It's one
played
of
it
those
to
tracks
first
that
break.
You get 16 bars out of the drop. You're
It's
like,
probably-
everyone's enjoyed the drop.
Those
Cool,
tracks
move
are
on.
like, there's like a fine line between producers doing too much and it being right. Because like, it's like sometimes they just add sounds in for the sake of it just to make it the craziest ever. But that was,
with that one, you could imagine a real top D&B producer taking that to levels.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. That's nice.
I'll go a couple more. I love this vocal.
I feel I've heard this on a few tunes. I don't
This was out like last year or year before. Called Disco Lines, Baby Girl.
Yeah.
This is the Zero bootleg.
Okay. Zero's another one. He's up there with like MPH.
It's vibey, but again, it feels.
It's like you've heard it already.
Yeah.
Even though you haven't.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's a filler tune for me.
Definitely.
Again, I think that's the bass sound, if I'm going to get really like specific. Yeah. It just kind of like drones a little bit too much throughout the track, and there's room to kind of
Switch it.
Maybe use a better sound.
Yeah.
It's a vibe, but
it's a
Not
vibe,
the vibe, but it's not the vibe.
not in the playlist.
Last one.
A bit more minimal.
Oh,
Yes.
iconic little riff.
Iconic. Again,
There's so much where people are pulling from so many different tracks.
You know when you love a song, but you can't play the original. You need a new version just to play for another couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean?
This song really wound me up because Drake took this, didn't he?
Truffle
But
butter.
it wasn't on the one.
Yeah, I know.
Like he moved the melody. It's like
bum,
one
bum,
beat
bum,
away. I'm
bum,
like, what?
It's just class, isn't it?
My Jane Cole.
It's just so.
So again, this track, My Jane Cole's What They Say, it's very old.
It's very old.
Yeah, it's got to be like 2013.
This is the
or earlier.
JSRP Cardiac remix. Doesn't need to do much more, does it?
Nah, it's like a nice little redrum of the original.
Exactly. And I like it when you love
Stabs on top.
a song so much. It doesn't need much. Like the Sammy Virgil one. Doesn't need much, but I just like a little twist to it.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Like
What
one?
year is that one? I know actually.
2011.
What?
Maybe next year we'll do like 20 years old tracks and stuff.
Yeah,
like
let's do
that.
that. No,
Maybe
that's
not.
a
Do you know what? I think we've finally got to this era where dance music is being resampled into
easily.
new waves of electronic
God,
and dance
yeah.
music.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know
is that-
how like disco into hip hop,
Yeah.
and then hip hop kind of got sampled somewhat into electronic music.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's like a repurposing now of not just making edits. There's like ways that people are starting to sample original electronic tracks and elements from
Yes.
recycling.
Guys, always would like to give you something back if you just visit their website and go to wearecrossfader.co.uk. If If you're interested in leveling up or taking a course with us, you can get 20% off any course, and it has changed. Ooh. Is it now 20 off the record?
Yeah,
I think it is. Don't ignore the screen. Listen to my voice. 20 off the record. Who's changed it? That was quick. 20 off the record. You get 20% off any of our individual DJ courses, or you can check out the complete package and get everything that we have to offer. It's nice being back. We will be back next week, same time, same place. See you later.
Goodbye.
Peace out.